In today's video, we are back in the Fens. We're heading for a small market town called Whittlesey. At Whittlesey, a few million quid has been spent on building a brand new road there, but the road has actually made journey times worse. Many people in the UK have probably never even heard of Whittlesey, but it is the home of one of Britain's best loved food brands. Whittlesey is also home to something that is Britain's biggest. It's also home to a small transport yard that has a lot of history within the trucking industry. We'll also be taking a look at why one time or another there was a lot of smoke in the area, which was all down to manufacturing one certain type of product.
I love my brakes!
So as ever, there's a lot to get through. So let's discuss it. On the trucker's eye.
Ah, that's nice.
Maybe we're seeing another side to Father Jack, a more caring, considerate.
Whittlesey can be found on the A605, 6 miles east of Peterborough. In the video, we are currently travelling on the A605 in a westerly direction, just 2 miles from Whittlesey itself. The reason we're starting our video here is that I want you to notice the name of this village. As you can see, this village is called Eastry, spelt R-E-A at the end. And here's the sign as you enter Whittlesey. Whittlesey spelt with S-E-Y at the end. However, if you were to arrive at the train station at Whittlesey, you might think that it's spelt differently. Strangely, the railway station is spelt S-E-A. Apparently, this is something to do with an older spelling of the town. There are various stories around that the spelling was changed to E-Y at the end of Whittlesey, to keep it in line with other places close by, such as Thorney and Ramsey. Which then begs the question, why is Eastry still called Eastry with E-A on the end? Ironically, it was the railway at Whittlesey that was causing congestion on the main road. For most of his working life, one man battled to get a new road built in the area. After 40 years of campaigning to get that brand new road built, his dream was realised. Sadly, that dream has turned into a bit of a nightmare. Let's get across to the west side of Whittlesey and take a look. This is the causeway built in 2022 to cross the Peterborough to Ely railway line. Prior to the causeway being built, traffic passing through Whittlesey had to cross this level crossing on the A605. Due to the frequency of the trains travelling along this line, it meant traffic travelling along the A605 was greatly impacted as the level crossing closed to allow the trains to pass through. However, after campaigning for more than 50 years to get a bridge across the railway line, one man saw his dreams come to fruition. And that man's name was Ralph Butcher.
Francis Butcher will be the perfect diplomat.
No, not Frank Butcher. Ralph Butcher. It would be funny though if his wife's name was Pat. Ralph Butcher was a former councillor who retired in 2019. In 2021, the causeway was renamed Ralph Butcher Causeway to reflect his continuous and tireless determination to get the bridge constructed. Mr. Butcher, who lived with his wife Pat,
you can't make this stuff up,
earned the title of the town's longest serving councillor before retiring from his roles in May 2019. Mr. Butcher sadly passed away in September 2022. Moving the subject back onto the bridge that was named after him, you may notice that there's some temporary roadworks and only one lane in both directions. The bridge has sadly been like this since 2024. Cracks had been found in the road surface, with some people believing that the bridge was built in the wrong place. That wrong place being a boggy marshland and a former disused quarry. Work to remedy the problem had been due to start, but then at the end of May 2025, a brand new start date was due to be published for the work to start. The Peterborough Telegraph reported that repairs were delayed as start date is now unknown. And isn't that wonderful? Maybe they should look to the past. As you travel around the country, you'll notice many old viaducts which are made of brick. They seemingly stand forever, if only there was somewhere close by that made bricks. And ironically, there is. This is the Forterra Brickworks, formerly known as the Hanson Brickworks. This site has been producing bricks for over 140 years. One of the most recognised products manufactured at the site is the London brick. Following the end of World War II, output reached as many as 16 million bricks per day. However, this brickworks was not the only brickworks in the vicinity. In 2011, Hanson, as the company was known then, was forced to mothball the Saxon Brickworks. Having stood as a prominent feature of the Whittlesey skyline for 50 years, the chimneys at the Saxon Brickworks were demolished in May 2021 after structural issues were found. These structural issues seem to have been playing a major part in this area. These are the only 85-metre high chimneys left in the area, but just below the camera is a company that everybody will be well aware of, and they have something that is 120 metres high. These are two of the three 120-metre high turbines that power one of Britain's best loved food companies.
Sophie, who do you like best, Daddy or Chips? Daddy or Chips? Daddy or Chips? Daddy or Chips? Thanks, Mum. Thanks, Mum. Daddy Chips.
Oh, girls. McCain chips, Britain's most popular choice.
Chips.
McCain, you just can't help yourself.
I dare say that everybody knows what McCains produce. If you don't know what they produce, then let's just say more or less anything you can do with a potato. McCains at Whittlesey employ 350 people. There'll also be a high number of people who don't actually work for McCains but work around the site. An example of those people might be one of these lunatics. I don't care how good the wages are for maintaining turbines, but there is no way on earth you would get me in that cherry picker. But there is one thing that every single manufacturing company in the world does need, and that comes in the form of trucks and some kind of distribution. And it just so happens that just a few hundred metres away from the McCains factory, there sits a very small but significant transport yard. Let's get back down on the ground and along the road that is Kingsdyke, and let's see what we're talking about. This small transport yard, as we said, is a very significant transport yard too. The company who currently operate the yard are called DFDS.
DFS sale.
No, not DFS, DFDS. If you don't know who DFDS are, they are a huge Danish international shipping and logistics company, and it's DFDS that is the main distributor for the McCains factory just down the road. The McCains factory just literally being a stone's throw away. You might notice that some of the refrigerated trailers in the yard have got solar panels on the top. These are the zero-emission temperature-controlled trailers that DFDS have brought into their fleet. The trailer's temperature control system uses a combination of the solar panels and the battery to keep goods at their temperature, whether that be fresh or frozen. The trailers are not only good for the environment, but for drivers too. Generally, truck drivers sleep in the cab of their vehicles, and if you are carrying temperature-controlled goods, you'll probably spend the night listening to this. Hopefully soon, sleeping with that racket might become a thing of the past. But just what is the significance of this small transport depot? Well, back in 2010, DFDS acquired the ferry and logistics company Norfolk Line. Going back through the years on Google Maps, you can see that the depot looked very different a few years ago, including the Norfolk Line name. Norfolk Line themselves acquired the depot when they purchased a much loved British company. That company is remembered with much fondness, especially amongst the older generation of UK truck drivers. And that company in question was called Murfitts. Murfitts would send trucks all over Europe, to Russia and beyond. Personally, I've been driving trucks for 30 years, and in all that time I've never heard so many drivers talk so well about a company that they've worked for. Here's just a tiny fraction of some of the nice comments you'll find about Murfitts online. Finding footage of trucks from yesteryear online is always difficult. Back in those days there were no smart devices such as phones with cameras or anything like that. So imagine my surprise to find a great shot of a Murfitts truck taking a roundabout near Dover back in the day. There is one last picture that I'm going to show you of a Murfitts truck before we end the video. This truck wasn't painted in the Murfitts colours, but it was owned and operated by Murfitts Transport. And there you have it, a Murfitts truck liveried with mccains UK. It just goes to show you how long mccains and any company that has been at King's Dyke in Whittlesey have been working together. It's time to make our way to another destination, but that's for another video. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. There was one last comment on that Facebook page that I thought I'd share with you before the end of the video. Nigel Hales commented, "In the day of great trucking." And that got me thinking, were the old days of trucking better than what they are today? Let me know down in the comments section below whether you've been driving for quite a while or whether you're quite new to the industry. If you've been in the industry for quite a while, do you prefer the days gone by or the modern days of trucking as they are now? If you're new to the industry, is it everything that you've been expecting? This is a subject I'd like to have your thoughts and comments on in the comment section below. I'm hoping to put a constructive video again on this subject in the future. When I look around various places on my travels, it does seem to me that many drivers today are just like the bricks we saw at the brickworks earlier. In many companies, you're just another brick in the wall. I'll see you all next time on The Trucker's Eye.